That's why I show up for these kinds of videos time and time and time again, because when I create by using my voice, this is when I get to hear myself back and remember, because I hear myself and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm right. Actually, like that sounds and feels right if I listen to myself. And so I have to like externalize it to reflect it back to me, because sometimes there's just like all this other noise going on. I can't hear myself clearly. So I talk to myself and I share with you, and I listen and I reflect and I feel and I am with what is actually there, because I allow myself to express what is there. This coherence that we can find and feel if we are present, if we are still, and if we listen. And if we move with that. Sometimes I just feel like the level of complexity that I'm holding and the opposites that I'm holding are just so extreme that I'm just gonna explode and be torn apart into 1,000,000 tiny little pieces. That feeling of like, you see it all, you know, you see the darkest shadows and the brightest light, and you have to hold it all and still build and move forward. I mean, it can be beautiful, as I'm talking about a lot of the time, you know, that is our art. That is the way that we're, you know, we are creating this masterpiece out of our life and out of our experience. And that doesn't mean that that's going to be like beautiful all of the time. Actually, it means the opposite of that. It means that like sometimes it's going to be super heavy and more than you can bear, and you just feel like you're going to lose your mind and go crazy, because you're just like, how can all of this be happening at the same time? And it's just about like coming back to recognizing how amazing and beautiful our bodies actually are, and like how beautiful and amazing nature actually is. And so it's about that presence with that and seeing the beauty of that despite its imperfections, and despite the fact that it may not seem like progress, or like we're constantly advancing or producing or moving in a direction that makes like logical sense and that's ideal. There's much more of a fluidity and a spiraling to it all that's just so raw and real, and it's not always beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful in the fact that it's not perfect. It's beautiful in the fact that we can look back on it and be like, okay, I see how that all weaves together, and why certain things needed to happen, or why it had to be so. And so it's all about trusting all of that, trusting that unfolding, and being with it so deeply that you allow what is real to unfold and to emerge. And so things like meditation can be great, or whatever practices that you want to have. But I know that for me, this it always comes back to this, because I need to hear myself, and I need to hear my heart's voice. And so that's why more and more in the spaces that I hold space for that for others, because I know the importance of it. Like, if I didn't create this space and practice for myself in these last 10 years, I wouldn't have been able to have been strong enough and centered enough in myself to have held my ground and stay in integrity and alignment with my values and the type of life that I want to live, and the type of world that I want to see, like by putting that into practice for myself. I don't think I would have been strong enough to do that. And so I try to remind myself of that when things look like they're not going the way that I want them to, or days like today where I'm just like totally drained and exhausted, and allowing myself to rest. So I'm going to leave it there. but just with this reminder that as I share these expressions from the heart, that these aren't spaces for teaching or trying to convince anybody of anything. It's really just modeling my own process through my own expressions of who I am and what I'm going through. And so I hope that this serves you. That's my prayer every time that I create, that that it serves me, that it serves anybody who comes into contact with the work, that it just brings us all into deeper presence with what is real. So much love to you. All the best, and I'll see you in another expression from the heart.